Okay, next in my series of home repair videos, this one's to do with the septic tank. We just had our septic tank pumped a couple days ago. It's a two-chamber tank. You can see the two chambers right here. Chamber number one, this is the primary. Nothing wrong with this one, but in chamber number two, well, as you can see, the lid broke, and so I'm going to have to replace that lid. But more importantly, they told me last time they pumped it, and reiterated that this time, so that this thing here, which is called the baffle, this is where liquid comes out of the secondary chamber of the tank and goes into the field, the septic field. This baffle is just made of concrete, and you can see it's kind of gradually eroding away. Kind of looks like exposed aggregate. They tell me that that's probably going to just crumble away to nothing fairly soon, and when it does, of course, the baffle no longer works. Its purpose is to, you can see, I'll have a look over on this side, maybe you can see it, it's a little bit dark in there, but there we go, right there. That's where the liquids go from the primary chamber into the secondary chamber, and after they do that, the idea is that this baffle over here, which extends down, let's see, extends down, it's hard to see in this lighting, but it goes down about 16 to 18 inches from the outlet pipe there. And the idea is that liquid has to come up through this baffle before it can get out to the outlet pipe and take it into the septic field. What you don't want is for the liquid to come straight across from here over to here and just go straight then from the primary to the outlet. You want it instead to come from the primary tank into the secondary tank, then any solids floating will remain floating in the tank. So the liquid has to come up through this chamber right here before it can get out to the field. So you don't want those solids, if there's any solids floating in the tank, you don't want those to be able to go straight out into the septic field. You want those to be trapped in here and only liquid able to rise up and go through the pipe into the septic field. Now that's not the case here soon if this breaks away. Once that breaks away, it's going to allow solids and gunk and sludge to just flow right out into the septic field, and that's going to plug the pipes in the septic field and result in a very, very expensive repair. So it's much cheaper to repair the baffle at this point. And how do we repair the baffle? Well, I wasn't real sure myself, so the guy that pumped the septic tank was very helpful. He said, well, we can repair it for you for a mere $300 and some odd. And I said, well, how do you do that? And he described it to me. He said, well, we come in here, we bash away that concrete part, get rid of it, and then replace it with PVC. And this is what they use. And after he told me what they used and how they do it, I thought, well, that sounds like a job I can quite easily do myself. So first off, they buy this little item here. It's made by a company called Polylock, and it's basically just a fitting that converts from whatever you have going to your septic field. In this case, it looks like we have a piece of fairly light-duty ABS pipe. So this thing converts from that to PVC. How it does that? Well, this is just kind of a tapered fitting, and it's got sort of a screw lock on it, and basically you just hammer it into whatever you got there. So whether you have ABS pipe or a concrete pipe or whatever the case is. This thing is tapered, it just goes into it. You bash it in until it locks in place. There's instructions right here on the side. Once it's in place, that gives you a conversion from that other pipe to PVC, just a standard 4-inch PVC. Then we take a piece of PVC. It'll be use a short piece. Really only need about 3 or 4 inches. From that to, this is called a sanitary tee. Okay, so that goes on there like that, and then from there we just take a regular old piece of 4-inch PVC and extend it down into the tank. So I need to cut a couple inches off here to use as my coupler right here. A little piece of male pipe just as a coupling in between there. Once I've done that, we'll have a solid coupling there, sanitary tee, and extending down into the tank. Now optionally, there's this other thing that they call a sanitary screen or a sanitary filter. Looks like this. And where that goes is it just pushes right into the sanitary tee. Once it's in place, of course, you just drop this right into it and it creates a screen or a filter for any solids that might come up. You'll see how this works once we assemble everything. Well, my septic tank guy did not lead me astray. I barely had to touch that with the hammer and it just crumbled. So now you can see that part crumbled away easily. It's well below where that outlet pipe is. So if that happened on its own, yeah, we'd have solids just going straight from the primary tank out into the septic field. So I'm going to take my, now that I've cleaned that away, take my little poly lock adapter here, put that into the pipe. Gee, this would be a bad time to drop my camera, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'm going to pop that into the pipe. Maybe I best put the camera down while I do this part. Okay, so I've put that in place, and with a little gentle persuasion with a rubber mallet, just tapped it in until it's nice and snug. And now I need to cut a little short piece of 4-inch PVC so I can connect that to my sanitary tee. I'll be right back. Alright, step 2. You are going to need some of this stuff. This is PVC pipe cement, not ABS cement, PVC. This is the white PVC that we're using. See how it says right there, PVC? Make sure you get the right cement for it. Okay, I've already, as I said earlier, cut off about a 4-inch piece to use as a coupler. That leaves me a piece that's long enough that when I attach it to the bottom of my sanitary tee, like so, it's going to go down the same distance to the bottom of here as the old baffle that's in there, the old concrete one that I'm replacing. So, this is not rocket science. It's really easy. Take some of your PVC cement, gob it on inside here, give it a good decent coating. Do the same thing on the end of the pipe, on the outside of the pipe, of course. What this stuff does, it's a fast-acting cement. It actually sort of melts the plastic. It doesn't really glue it in the traditional sense. It actually dissolves the outer layer of the plastic slightly. and it sets up really fast. So when you put it together, normally when you put these pipes together, you want to do it quickly. Push it in all the way with a little bit of a twisting motion as you're doing it. You'll feel it bottom out in the pipe. When it bottoms out, you're done. It's bonded. There you go. Just like that. Okay, now we need to do a short coupling right here to attach it to the field side. Same thing. Just grab our PVC cement in there. Nice layer on the outside of this pipe. Before you start saying, hey, shouldn't you clean that pipe first? Come on, really? I'm doing a septic tank here. We don't really care about leaks, although I guarantee you there's not going to be any leaks in this pipe, but in this case we don't really care if it leaks a little bit. It's just an outlet to the field. Okay, so there, it's now prepared to go into the septic tank. All I need to do is put some glue on this section right here, a little glue on that fitting that I pounded into the field side, and bond the two of them together. So we're going to go do that right now. Okay, now I would have loved to have shown you the action shot here, but kind of had to hang head first into the tank, and yeah, before you ooh and ah and say oh, how yucky that is. Remember, this is the secondary tank. It doesn't really see any solids, and it's just being pumped, as has the primary tank. So really, you know, there's no smell here to speak of. I think I smell worse than the tank does. Anyway, that's another story. Here's the finished product. So what I did was I glued up the pipe and the coupling, same as the others. Reached in here with the pipe and inserted it in the same way, pushing it in and twisting as I pushed it in, making sure that I lined it up vertically in the position I want it to be in. Very important to work quickly. When you glue these PVC pipes together, or ABS, or any other type of plastic pipes, they bond fairly quickly. So in one fluid motion, just push the pipe in, twist it a little bit, get it lined up. You do have a couple of seconds of wiggle room to reposition it, but usually only a couple of seconds. Make sure you have to dry fit it first before you put the glue on. Make sure things are going to sit where you want them to. And if you're confident of that, then put the glue on, push it in, twist it a bit, set it in the right position, and you're done. Okay, so this is now complete, other than that filter I showed you earlier, that effluent filter. So what do we do with that? Well, actually, this would work right here as is. This will perform and function as a proper baffle, preventing any solids from going out into the septic field. But just to make doubly sure, take this baffle, and like I said, this is an optional thing, but a good idea. What it does, it fits inside the pipe. It's all screened on the bottom all the way up the sides, and that makes it difficult for any sizable solids to get into it. So really just liquid gets into this. The liquid flows up, and you can see the center is hollow. So the liquid flows up until it reaches the level of the outlet pipe, and then it can flow out to the septic field as it should. The advantage of this screen is you can pull this out and just hose it off a couple of times a year. I don't know if you can see this, but it does say right there, outlet. It's got an arrow there. And I'm not sure how important that is really, but since they've taken the time to mark it, might as well put it in that way. So it just sits in the sanitary tea, just like that. And you can see on top of the sediment, or on top of the effluent filter, it's open on the top. That's to allow the air to escape, right? So the liquid can rise up from underneath. You want the air to be able to escape, so the level of the liquid can come up and then go out to the septic field. So that's it. Piece of cake. That's really, all told, I think that was maybe a 15-minute job, if that. Not that hard to fix. And they wanted $350 to do that. I think all these parts, including that optional filter, all these parts cost me at the local plumbing wholesaler about $65. Or so I had an 18-inch section of 4-inch PVC pipe left over from a prior project, so I just had to buy the sanitary tee, the locking fitting, and the effluent filter. I already had the glue, and I already had the 18 inches of pipe. So your mileage may vary. Maybe it'll cost you $100 if you have to buy a full length of pipe and a can of glue, but $100 is a heck of a lot easier to take than $350 for a 15-minute job. All I have to do now is deal with that broken lid, and that'll be another phase. I'm going to put some what they call risers on here. I'll do another video when I get to that and show you how to do risers. So for now, hope you enjoyed this, and hope you save yourself some money if you have the same problems with your tank. Bye for now.